Harrow, Director of Tourism and Community Development for One Israel Fund. And today finds me in one of my favorite places in the country, Shiloh. Shiloh was the first capital of the Jewish people. This is the place where the Tabernacle was set up when we come into the land after the conquest with Joshua, or really during the conquest with Joshua. Reading to you here from Joshua 18, the whole community of the Israelite people assembled at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The land was now under their control, but there remained 7 tribes of the Israelites which had not yet received their portions. What happens here in Shiloh? This is where Joshua divides up the land into all the tribal portions. So how do we know that this is Shiloh? How do we know that this is the original Shiloh, where he comes, where they set up the tabernacle, which becomes the religious center for the Israelites during the entire period of the Judges? Before Jerusalem, when Jerusalem was still controlled by the Jebusites, Shiloh is where people came, or at some point didn't come anymore. Now we have many archaeologists working here at Shiloh, and you can see that the Tel is attracting a large variety of people. The area is amazingly similar to Jerusalem. It's a small hill surrounded by larger hills in a tremendous valley, because the Jews would come here on the festivals, on the 3 major festivals, and even a 4th festival at the time, the grape festival, the grape harvest, the wine festival on Tu B'Av, and they would eat in the area, they would eat their sacrifice within sight of the tabernacle, within sight of the Mishkan. And this area is perfect. It's like an enormous amphitheater which could hold thousands and thousands of people. But they stopped coming here at some point, and because of corruption that's happening in the Mishkan, and eventually the Mishkan is destroyed. But now we have people living here again. We have a beautiful community of about 400 families in Shiloh proper, and other satellite communities around as well, and a very vibrant area that is bringing tourists here. Unfortunately, you guys aren't here, but bringing Israelis here all the time, and school groups and army groups, to learn about our history from over 3,000 years ago. A few minutes north of Tel Shiloh is Yitzhar, where we travel to learn about the stones of the breastplate, the Choshen, worn by the high priest in the time of the Tabernacle. I'm in a very happy place because I'm in a jewelry store in a beautiful village called Yitzhar that's on the ancient Patriarch's Road just south of Shechem, just south of Nablus, a modern community of about 350 families. And I'm sitting with Ma'ayan Ayash, who's responsible for my happy place, in her studio here in her home in Yitzhar. I've brought groups to Ma'ayan over the years to do different kinds of workshops and to do a little bit of shopping. And I'm so delighted that you made the time to sit with us today.
It's very nice to receive you here again. And so I am Jolo, and I'm working about 30 years with stones. I'm from Brazil. I was born in Brazil, and so that's why I like stones. Brazil is we have a lot of types of stones. And now I am working with different things with stones. The temple in Jerusalem, we have the Choshen. In the Choshen, we have stones, and we don't understand why it's bright. You know, when they ask what happened, so the stones can say something. And there's a story of Eli Cohen. He said that he didn't understand what was there. He thinks that Hannah was shikora and she was kshira. So something happened there. And I learned about a lot of stones and about stones. And I understand that the stone is a very primal thing. And so the energy is the energy with our chakras, our centers of energy. And we have there are people that can see the energy in the people, and they say that there are a lot of different colors, and sometimes when we are very sad or tired or something is wrong, it's the energy is not good. So the center of this energy don't have the color that it must have. And the stones, they have colors. And when you need something, we say avnei chefetz. Avnei chefetz, that's when something that you need, you have there in the stones, even avnei chefetz. And it's very, very beautiful to see that. Like people comes to the stone that they need. Something, if someone is sad, he takes a stone that gives energy to the place that is without energy.
So what you're saying is that in people, there's something that calls to us in some way about these stones. Some chafet, as you said, avnei chefetz. It's something that you want or something that you need.
Yes.
All right, in the stones. I remember coming up here a few years ago with a group of women to do a workshop with you. Everyone made a beautiful pendant. And one of the women picked up a stone, a random stone, and you said to her, "You're having trouble with your liver." I thought she was going to pass out. And she said, "How did you know?" And you said to her, "Because you picked up what's called a bloodstone. There's something going on in your body. You were drawn to that stone." And we were all just completely blown away, because it doesn't seem like this fits into Judaism. You spoke about the Choshen, which was the breastplate that the high priest wore, that they could ask it questions and certain letters would pop up and give some kind of answer, something that's very difficult for us to understand these days. And each tribe was affiliated with a stone that meant something, was somehow connected to the tribe. When you talk about this and you talk about chakras and you talk about energies and stones, do people look at you and say, "That's not Judaism, that's like, what is that?"
It's like the astrology. People say that it's not Jewish, but it's not true. It's the world, the way that the world, the nature is going like this, and how God said to Avraham Avinu, "Don't look to the stars because you are not Avraham Avinu was thinking that you never have children, so he said, "No, it's not. You are high,
Higher than, right.
So it's the same thing. There's something it's going in the world. We can pray and we can change it because we are Jewish people and we believe in God, and God can make what He wants in the world. But there's something wrong going and running here, and this is the nature. It is not. If you take it like Avodah Zarah, so it will be Avodah Zarah. If you take it to Kedusha, it will be Kedusha. It depends what happened in your mind.
If you take it to like a pagan place and you start worshiping the stones themselves or worshiping the sun and the moon, which people did in the ancient world, then that's one thing. But I think what Judaism says, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we understand that Hashem created all these things with the energies that they have, but we don't believe in fate. You're not doomed, the stars are going to line a certain way and that's it. We can change that. We have control over what we do. But that doesn't preclude the fact that there are things in nature that are beyond perhaps our understanding today. Maybe they understood it better in the ancient world. You mentioned that you were born in Brazil, and then that's where you learned about the stones. And that I actually found out that H. Stern, the big jewelry store, I think he started there, buying mines in Brazil, and that's where he got some of his semi-precious stones, because there's a lot of them in Brazil. But you didn't come to Israel in like a traditional manner. Would you mind sharing with our viewers your personal story? I find it fascinating.
Okay, my story is a long story. It's a little bit complicated. I'm from a Catholic family, and all my life I was looking for what's the right way to live in the world, and I didn't know, because I think the Catholic and don't make anything. You can do everything. Everything is free. Everything it's. So I was looking for a right way. So I was with the Indians in the jungle, and after I was in Muslims in French, and was in Catholic, how we call this, Nezirot.
The nunnery.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, I was living with there, and in the end I came to the Judaism, and after all this, I discovered that my family comes from Portugal, so I have a Jewish
Jewish roots from the Inquisition.
Yes,
Were
yes.
Jews-
There's a lot of people in Brazil
Yes.
because they arrived to Brazil just the same time that the Jewish people was.
The Inquisition.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the Inquisition come with them in Brazil. So they every time was like Christians, new Christians, and so they lost it, the roots. But my family came from there. My name, I could see that because my family name is Souza and Oliveira and all those names from Jewish that changed it. Okay.
So, so many of us go through life and we don't understand why things happen to us. Sometimes we're lucky enough to come to a point in our life and look back and say, now the pieces are put together. So it turns out that you grew up in Brazil, became an expert in the stones because of where you grew up. And after this journey, or as part of the journey, really back to your roots, because you had the Jewish spark in you, even though you didn't know it until after you'd re-accepted Judaism, you've become one of the experts in Israel on the Choshen, on this breastplate that is not so much is known about, and maybe can give an insight into what it meant that people who didn't have your background and weren't familiar with stones, as wise as they might be in Torah and in Jewish studies, would never have been able to make the connections that you could make because of your background. It's an amazing thing. Do you ever look back and say, I can't, like, this is where I am now, but it was quite a distance traveled?
Why? I don't think so much about this. The things happen. So I don't think I'm so good with stones. That I know that it's something very, very simple, not complicated. You must just feel it. That's all. And when people come to ask me to make a Choshen, so it was very, very simple. It's just to use the right colors. And it's very funny because there is a research from Professor Zohar Amar, and he said they use it very simple stones. It's not stones that diamond. It's not diamond because they didn't use diamond, and sapphire. It's not the sapphire that you know. It's lapis lazuli. It's a stone much more simple than the stone. But it was beautiful stones. That was very important because we made the Elivan veil, for the Beit HaMikdash. We look for the most beautiful things. It don't need to be so expensive, but it must be beautiful. That's what is important. And for me, what is important, beautiful things, to make beautiful things for God.
Do you have stones here that were in the Choshen that are associated with a certain tribe?
We really don't know. But I think and I feel something about some stones. And this is jasper, yashpe. It's I think it's Binyamin. And this is amethyst, Achlama, Gad. And this is Yehuda. It's granite. I think it's very, very. This red is something very royal. Okay, something that's good for Yehuda. But I don't know if I think just when Mashiach will come, we will know really, because there's a lot of research and a lot of different names and different colors, and we really we don't know. We don't know yet. I think how much I'm learning more, I think I know less.
It's a sign of true knowledge.
Can people, even with COVID and even with the fact that tourists aren't coming here, can someone order from you, be in touch with you, order something online, and you'll send it to them?
Yeah, sure. People tell me what they want now with all these problems with Corona. Sometimes people just send me a picture, and I send the picture for him, and in the end, and they give me the size, the right size. This is the biggest problem, and they make things for people, especially for each one what they want. I like it. I like to להגשים חלומות. Realize dreams. Yes, it's very nice to make things that I know that will make people happy and special moments. It's a good work.
I so enjoy visiting Ma'ayan in her studio and learning from an unconventional expert about the enigmatic side of the Choshen breastplate of the high priest. One Israel Fund has recently built a playground in Yitzhar, in addition to continuing our relentless effort to securing our people in our heartland, especially in that very strategic and complex region where our past, present, and future coexist.